Thanks for joining us as we take a closer look at the recently released movie, Project Hail Mary.
Did you forget the name of the movie?
No, it's dramatic that way.
Oh, it was dramatic? I thought it was a brain fart.
Project Hail Mary, otherwise known as...
Oh, now I'm brain fart. Okay. Otherwise known as Magic School Bus 2.0.
That is not.
He was a teacher. He was a teacher.
He's a teacher. Yeah, there you go.
He should have just brought the children with him.
Prototype of Magic the School Bus.
You think so?
And then it just went a little different.
He was Miss Frizzle or something. Is that how it goes?
Miss Frizzle. They did a sex change.
Okay. Oh,
see, they got progressive.
Yeah, they did.
Or counter progressive.
My name is John Newton, science fiction author, and today I am joined by
Ryan Schultz.
Two other nerds who want to save the sun, and
Eric from Your Brother in Christ.
Thank you. We're joined together to review this movie and pull it. It's one of those things where somebody calls you up and say, "Hey, you want to go see this movie?" And we heard a bit about it. I didn't know too much about it to begin with, but I'll tell you what: if you haven't seen it, or even thought about seeing it, you might want to check it out. Hollywood's been put out a bunch of bombs the last few years. Every once in a while, there's a diamond in the rough, and this may be one. Before we get started, please smash that like button, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you like and even people you don't like to force them to watch it. We're going to do this in a couple different ways. We're going to start with a spoiler-free section, then we're going to dive into a spoiler section later. What was this movie about? Spoiler-free. No, don't tell the end or if he dies.
How can we tell you what it's about spoiler-free?
It is a sci-fi comedy.
Whoa. Slow down. Don't spoil that.
I'm literally going through the category options here.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Well, let's tap into the trailer and we'll have that moving in the background. We'll see what that's like.
State your name.
Ryland Grace. I just woke up from a coma. I'm several light years from my apartment. And I'm not an astronaut. I'm not an astronaut. I'm not an astronaut.
If you don't go, you die. We're the rest of us.
Okay, so this is how not how it starts, but it develops like this. You got something is going wrong with not the world, and you're not blaming people for global warming here. Global cooling, and it's something else that's causing it. And this thing that's causing it is making us want to be able to jump to find some solution. This is not a spoiler. It is in the trailer. We can go with that.
Okay.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, this is your classic adventure. It reminds me a classic movie that I watched growing up. It reminds me of The Core. I don't know if you guys have watched that one, but essentially the magma in the center of the earth stops spinning and like they have to go journey into the earth.
Okay.
And there's peril, there's adventure, there's fun characters, there's sci-fi there, and it harkens back to that. Now I do think this one is better produced than those old movies, but I was just really glad to see the style of movie return.
Okay, so a save the earth type of project.
Absolutely.
Where this guy is involved. Any other comments from that?
I'd say the comedy that you see in this trailer is in the movie. And it's not just the highlights of the comedy.
No, in fact, they kept a lot of the comedy out. I think the trailers do a fairly good job of not really ruining the story for you with it.
I will say, though, I was surprised that in the trailer they showed that he meets an alien. I would not have minded being surprised by that. And I can say that it's not a spoiler since it's in the trailer. Right.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
The sun is dying. You are the only scientist who might know what this is.
I'm just a teacher at Grover Cleveland Middle.
You have a doctorate in molecular biology. I need you to come with us. This is Project Hail Mary. The sun is not the only star dying. Every star was infected by its neighbor, except one.
Why?
We don't know.
Which
Oh, no.
And that is pretty much the gist of he's thrown into the situation. Unlikely hero. Don't want to go into too much of that, but he does get drawn into something that he'd rather not be a part of. And I think it's something that a lot of people can relate to from that regard. You mentioned the humor that's here. We're going to take a look at, I think we'll just jump into the other trailer because that one has more of the humor, but you did see how it was set up. All these, it's not just our solar system that's hit. It's the others that are hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Feeding off the sun. That'd be a tough one.
So I'm going to take a look at some of the comments here. It looks like we got quite a few going in here. Yes, I caught that. Yeah. Okay. I'm assuming John was either very busy or movies have gotten so bad there's only one.
I pushed him, just for the record, into watching this movie.
He did.
And I got a number of no's first before finally he caved.
That is true. And I have dearly missed this and all the hard work that's gone to putting this channel together. I'm thinking, no! But work being what it was and needing to provide food for the family and also trying to get that second book out, all those things combined to say I have to be able to change priorities. But this movie, I'm telling you, is a good one. Without getting too much into our ratings, it's worthwhile, I think, to give it a shot. And there's some good themes in here. We always talk about themes being used as a springboard for conversation for deeper questions of theology and trying to draw people closer to Christ. This has got a couple of doozies in here. And I think it's worthwhile to use. People talk about this stuff. People are interested in stuff. This is buzzing right now. Would you guys agree with that, or how would you feel?
Yeah, it's very subtle, I would say, but there's classic themes in here that I think humans we can all relate to, and it draws it out in a very unique way. And I think the themes can easily translate to it's kind of a biblical message. So yeah, I'd be excited to talk more about those when the time comes.
Now, I gotta admit, there's something missing in here that's been in many other movies recently. I didn't feel like I was getting preached to.
Yeah.
I was able to enjoy the comedy for the comedy's sake without feeling like I was being badgered over the head.
Yeah.
Or bludgeoned to death.
Yeah, and I would say in terms of clean, would you say this is a generally clean movie?
Yeah, very clean.
This could have been PG.
And that's what's so crazy about it, because a lot of, even though I'd say it's got a lot of humor in it, I think only one was slightly in that. You have to really pay attention to get it.
Stretch it as being like a.
But normally with movies that rely this heavily on comedy, you get a dirty, crappy movie with a bunch of dirty jokes.
This was very wholesome, and I think the relationship between Gosling and our other friend was very wholesome and just so endearing. When I was in the theaters, there were actually 5-year-old kids behind me, and they were their parents were like, "Here comes Rocky," and the kids were really excited at the prospect of Rocky coming out, and they were like, "Oh, there he is, there he is!"
That was spoiler free.
Well, it was in the trailer. It was in the trailer, right?
Yeah. Well, there's 2 trailers. The final trailer, he is in it. So
okay.
I want to tread lightly though, because there was some surprises and stuff. So it'd be good to have that, and we'll definitely have a spoiler section. We'll unload on that. You guys can see that as well. A couple other comments here. I hear it's just a random guy in his childhood pet rock that came to life one day when he put an old top. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Not really, but okay.
No, it's of course much deeper than this. This guy is a microbiologist, and he basically in the beginning, I could tell this a little bit. I think he was ostracized for writing a paper that was bringing up some controversial ideas. And so he lost funding. And then he ended up being a school teacher, and he liked that a lot better anyway. So he just stuck that. So he is very knowledgeable. So he's a school teacher, but they want him in space. They want him to at least teach.
I
the
also
astronauts.
wanted to send my school teachers to space too.
Oh,
You're not
Maybe
supposed
for
to
other
jettison
reasons.
your school teacher, okay?
Hey, was it Miss
Get
Frizzle?
out of
It
here.
wasn't Miss Frizzle.
Miss Frizzle, the dark side.
It came out a few years ago. I would have thought it was a vaccine propaganda. If it came out, sorry, if it came out a few years ago, I thought it was vaccine propaganda.
Interesting.
No, I heard that when Andy Weir, who's the author, when he first wrote this, it was brought up right away because he did the Martian, and he did another one that they brought to movie. So his writing is like very popular, especially with Hollywood and picking it up. Hollywood didn't ruin it this time, though.
Correct. Well, they didn't ruin his other one either with the Martian.
With the Martian, no.
Yeah, I thought that
Martian
was
was
also
pretty
really.
decent.
So
We did do a review on that, and the link for that will be right here in about 12 hours.
I didn't think it was. I wouldn't say it's on this. I'd say this is better than the Martian.
I think so too, but they do well with his books. Like they translate to movies very well. Uh-oh.
One does not simply wander to Tau Ceti. The gates of Mordor. I'm guessing that's where he was coming with that.
1000% from.
And then he said also, the Christian Sodium channel said, I think that woman was supposed to be the future Greta Thunberg.
How dare you?
Yes, that's about it. She did sort of look at
it. Does, yeah.
Her name was
I think she was a
Eva
little more mature.
in the movie. She did have that sort of,
Yeah.
but
Probably a better singer.
she was German. You think a better singer? Okay, a little bit of trivia with that. That part of her singing in the movie was not originally in the script.
Correct. Yes.
You heard about that?
I did hear about that. Yeah.
What did you hear?
Well, I heard that character was a lot more stiff and serious, and then they softened her up a little bit, made her a little bit more personable for the movie.
Because Ryan Gosling heard her singing in between.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
In between scenes, and they said we got to use that, and so then they rolled that in.
Okay, it was a great addition. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good song choice too.
And I guess you saw it. He says, I agree. It wasn't preachy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to have that
It's
occasion.
like bare minimum.
You're missing
so
the
good.
opinion poll. I heard of it, but don't plan to see it. Okay. So we will.
Wow.
Huh?
Okay.
Well, that was on the
harsh.
opinion. That was on the opinion.
Well, that's
poll.
all the.
That's
poll
not an
right
option.
now.
You have to see it.
Oh,
It's
the
on the
poll
poll
that
right
you
now.
put
Yeah.
out there. Okay. Well, I will. It is there. Okay, here we go. Okay, so sorry, Ryan, you're right there. Have you seen the movie Hail Mary? He said 5% yes is a small sample. I think it's only 20 people. 5% said yes. 45 said no, but plan to. Then there's 15 for just streaming and 35%. You know what? There's a reason why we need to edit this. This is not made for children. First time hearing it. So there are some people who have done that. And then we have a couple other polls here, but we will wait a minute because we want to get the rating. See what you guys thought about the movie. And while you're talking about what you liked and you didn't like, I'm going to continue to play
We build a ship to go there and find out.
It's 11.9 light years away.
So you can go ahead and talk as this is playing. What would you guys rate it from a 1 to a 10?
Start with Ryan or start with me?
Start with Ryan.
Okay, I'm gonna have to give this 2 thumbs up.
Ah!
If you haven't seen
All right,
the movie
Rocky.
yet, you don't know.
2
But you'll
thumbs
know when you know.
way up.
All right. And your reason for that was briefly?
Oh, it's just a joke. You have to see.
Yes.
Some loss in translation stuff there.
Okay. So what would you rate it from 1 to 10?
I would give it an 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like this was just a fun, fantastic movie. This is why we go to theaters. Like it's movies like this. I was just so thrilled to see something. Really, the whole family. There's something there for everyone. Mom, dad, kids, grandma, grandpa, like everyone. I think this hits the demographics so well, and so many occasions. There's adventure, there's peril, there's hope, there's optimism, there's just wholesome nature that just like is so contagious. And I don't know how I was able to get so emotional over Iraq. It was just crazy to me. It made me laugh. It brought some tears a little bit. I was gripped at the edge of my seat. It was a visual spectacle. So many things. Gosling was so charming. That man right there, he is a charming, charming man. It hit on so many notes for me, and I really hope there's like a 3-hour, like uncut version of this movie. I would watch it yearly. Really good stuff.
Okay, you did a good job, and in fact, your timing was so well done there. You just timed it at the end of that trailer, but there was a couple of scenes there that were worth having the audio for. That maybe we'll pick that up here in a bit. And Mr. Eric, what would you like to say about the movie?
I would have to give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay,
yeah.
Which is, again, you guys know I've never actually given a 10.
that's true.
9.5 was the highest I've ever given.
So this is very
9.
high reaching for you to come out.
Absolutely. If there was a clear gospel message in it, it would have been a solid 10. But it's not. But there is still stuff you can pull from that, which I'm sure we'll cover later on.
I thought you didn't want to be preachy though.
Well, not preachy in bashing over the head.
So clear gospel message, but
in
not preachy.
in a good way, because I'll give it bad ratings if it's a bad
Sure, I gotcha.
good gospel message, but done in a way that's going to bash you over the head over it.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't like that either. So I think the comedy altogether, the interaction between the characters, I think is fantastic. The acting was really top notch. And it was just, again, enjoyable, good comedy, which is a breath of fresh air, all in all. So again, I've said this before with movies we've done that really suck. All it takes is bare minimum nowadays, and it's fantastic. And this goes far beyond that. So yeah, this is, I'd say, worthwhile, and I might even go watch it again. We'll see.
Okay. I would also, I'm in lockstep. I'm not often with this. You and I sometimes are at loggerheads with some kind of with our ratings, but I would also give it a 9, and for the same reasons, not bump it up to a 10. But I have given 10s before because I think the message was so good that they could have alluded to. They did a little bit. Actually did a little bit of an eternal message here from her, which was a little bit unusual. Didn't expect it out of the blue. But it was still good.
It was close.
So
if it would take another step, it would have been 10. But it was just right there where it could be interpreted any way you want. And that's the problem.
Yep.
A little bit of Pascal's
so I think,
there.
Pascal's wager.
Yeah, a little bit of that in there. Yeah.
Okay, so I would say from this group that we're looking at something that's fairly highly rated, and so now I think we can go into themes without spoils. If your Christian theme that you saw in here is spoiler related, if it's going to kind of ruin the story, you might want to hold off until the spoiler section. But I would say for right now, we're still spoiler free. And who wants to go first with the themes? Christian
I think
themes.
mine might be a spoiler.
Okay. So what I mean by themes, by the way, is that this is pretty much the best part, I think, of our review. We ask where there are Christian themes in this movie that we can use to deliver a message of hope and instruction to a dying world. So is there something in here of eternal value that we can say, "Ooh, did you think about this?" And again, not to be preachy, but just kind of open people's minds to other possibilities or thinking in a slightly different way. Yours is spoiler, can be spoiler. So yours,
yeah. So I mean, to me, I think the biggest Christian theme, and I think there's more nuanced ones, but the big picture one for me that I just can't overlook is just this idea of hope. I just think that there's something incredibly hopeful about this. And despite kind of our main character's situation, he's kind of been kind of rejected, kind of down out. He's highly educated, but he's in like this kind of a low position.
No family.
No family. Yeah, no connections.
Doesn't even have a dog.
I know. He's isolated and without purpose. Now he does teach, so I mean that's an important role. Everyone, I'm not trying to degrade that, but there's this sense that he's not fulfilled in life, right? And there's a call to adventure, and there's something about him that he can bring to the table that I think is very contagious. I think that God calls every one of us that we have, like maybe the society has rejected us, but he still calls us with that gift that we have into this world of adventure and this world of purpose. And I think that he was really reluctant. And I don't want to get too spoiler on that, but he was very reluctant, and he still went on this and had to essentially work his way into this position of like a vision of kind of like what he can bring.
Yeah.
And I think there was outside help. And I like in our stories, God provides outside help for us, words of encouragement, people to kind of like, or creatures to work with. And despite the odds, like there was just a sense of we can do this. And there was peril, there was danger, there was close calls, but like that's the Christian life, I think.
The hope in the midst of all that.
Mm-hmm. And purpose,
hope and purpose. That's good. And does that? It's kind of a leading question, but how does that resonate to the world right now? I mean, in what way does it? Because does it?
I don't know.
Hope and purpose.
Do you ever feel like hopeless in this world and the which we're living? I don't know. I think it's all going pretty smoothly right now.
No, I think you're right. I think that does make a big difference with people. My theme I found in a conversation between Eva Stratton. She's the German woman that we saw in some of the clips there earlier. She was singing. She was doing some other things. She's the project director, the project lead. She's the one that tells him that he has to go. And it's a conversation between her and Ryland Grace. That's the name of the main character in this. Grace asked, "Do you believe in God?" at one point, and she said, "It's better than the alternative."
That is really a pathetic answer.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought
it's better than the alternative.
No,
so
it's a great question. I would disagree with you totally.
Yeah, I think it was a good answer. Like, because it was subtle without being preachy, and it was also coming from a real place. And I think for the tone of this story, I think if she would have done much more, it would have been like, where's that coming?
No, I don't think if it was within her character. If she said one or two things more based on that, maybe even some leading questions like something about purpose, something about hope. It's the hope that keeps driving me. You know,
yes, something
it's a
like
purpose
that
beyond just this earth that keeps me going. Something like that, I think, could have carried through, and it would make sense, I think, for her character.
Well, I think for her character, though, she's very pragmatic, right?
Yes.
She's very analytical. She's very logical. And I know people like that sometimes struggle with this idea of faith and kind of like taking everything the Bible has to say. So I think her response is basically Pascal's wager, right? It's like, well, it beats the alternative, which is a very logical, analytical answer because she's right in a sense. It does beat the alternative. But at the same time, she probably hasn't worked out all the ramifications.
I know. But
that's like her character, though.
If she had, though, and I think it still could have been within a character like that, who continues to be analytical and very strict and by the book or whatever, who has taken that a step further because she is analytical and said, okay, what does that mean if there is a God? Can we recognize his character in creation, what we see, and then just step through from that?
I can see that. Yeah, she's probably too busy sciencing and all that stuff.
Yep. But if you look at the 7 scientists who ruled the world from the grave, all of them were Christians, and there was another video here about that. So this is a theme of eternal perspective, keeping it all in perspective. You remember the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the total perspective vortex, but keeping it all in eternity. And then it's like, I'm so small. So a couple of points of trivia before we go on. And before then, I'm going to check chats again, because you guys have probably been very active, but we have missed what you had to say.
Mostly Jack Roy and I see Carol B.
There's Tyler.
I do want to add this to it. He says the silliness kind of takes away from the suspense and urgency.
I wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Did you think that some of the humor was misplaced?
I think so. I think that is what kind of brought it down just slightly for me. I love the humor, but I don't think this was a comedy primarily. I think this was an adventure, and I think the comedy supplemented it really well, and it just made the characters so endearing. But I do think there were a couple of times maybe we got a little bit too MCU, a little too Marvel in terms of we're having a serious moment, we gotta cut it a little bit. I don't think it was nearly as bad, but yeah.
But you know what? I think that's how some people deal with hard things that they can't. It's difficult for them to face. So humor comes into it.
Yeah,
you mean an extremely stressful situation, as like waking up on a starship and being so far away from home,
and forget who you are.
Don't
spoiler section. Okay.
Well, so I didn't put that.
I did that. I'm sorry.
Was just repeating what was in the
I did that.
The trailer.
Stop
being careful, but yeah, I mean that's extremely stressful.
Yes, it is. Okay. Gosh, I'm gonna miss some of these guys. I'm so sorry. There's so many good comments here. God was mentioned once. I appreciate that. I hope he was going to ask The Rock about. Yes,
that would have been.
Let me tell you about the rock of my salvation.
Oh,
and then go from there. Oh.
You're a rock.
That's right.
I have a rock too.
Yes. Let me tell you about the stone that the builders rejected. Jack Ray said, taking another step, like a small step for movie kind. A breath of fresh air, would you say?
That's so.
No air at all.
And by the way, I will give another comment about that too. So many times this last year, and maybe in a little bit the year before, we had seen since COVID a decline in movie going, where I'm not a big, it's not like, oh, everybody needs to go to the theater. No. But if you've gone to the theater since COVID, you might have seen a drop. And a particular theater that I frequented was going down, and finally closed.
Really?
And then there is another one that had opened up that was so much nicer. I don't know if you guys have seen this with theaters. There's so many of them have closed around in different areas.
Yeah.
But then went to another one that had opened up recently, and it was much better.
Yeah.
And it was so much. We went last minute. We almost didn't get seats. I went with the family, and so we were really shocked. But it was packed, and I talked to the guy at the theater, and he said it was this movie in particular has been going on for a while and has been packed. So there's a lot of people that wanted to see that. So it has been a big step for movie kind. How does this? Oh, who is this guy? You recognize
Superman.
this? Do you recognize this guy? He says, "How does this fit in with your top roles, movies for the Goose?" And I think that was probably a mention for you. Is that an inside joke?
You know the Goose, right?
No.
Ryan Gosling.
Oh, okay.
Gosling Goose.
I didn't know.
I know it's a bit of a nickname. I didn't quite catch it at first.
Okay, how does this fit in with top movies? Oh, that is a good question. So let's take a quick break and look at that. We had lined up. It's not so much his movies necessarily, but these are movies that are similar to this. So which ones of these, and this is a question for you guys in the chat as well as you guys here, which ones of these movies did you like the best? And right on top of Ryan, once again, we have this one, Hail Mary. We're going to compare it to The Martian. This was another one by Andy Weir, who wrote that one. Another similar one, Interstellar. Now you can think about the ways that this has been similar, and The Arrival, because you're now trying to communicate with aliens. Those are all more or less recent movies that, within the last 10, 15 years or so, that have a similar theme going on there. I know that's not answering your question about the goose. But this doesn't answer it. Which of those 4, if you had seen them, did you like the most? If you can put that in the comments, and then you guys hear which ones of those would you rate the highest?
Arrival was really good. I would put this next to Project Hail Mary. I don't know.
Arrival and Hail Mary?
Yeah, I would put those 2 as my top.
Okay.
My top ones. I think that Arrival is really good in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more high-minded, a little more esoteric, but in a really engaging, clever way. Really good writing, really good world building. But like, it doesn't have that like wholesome hopefulness that Project Helm and just adventure. Like you really went on a journey with Project Hail Mary, which I think is really important for proper adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And like Arrival was just kind of like they came here and, you know, we interacted with them, and it was like really interesting. The thoughts of like how we use language, really fascinating, and really engaging. But if you just want something a lot more fun and hopeful and adventurous, Project Hail Mary, they're so different, but they're still very good in their own way.
What would you say?
I'd say one of the most difficult things in any sort of entertainment is having clean jokes that land. I'm not kidding. I mean, dirty jokes are easy, but if you can keep them clean, it is remarkably harder. So I would say Hail Mary beats them all.
Okay.
In my book.
Okay.
I'd say probably Interstellar is definitely on the bottom.
Really?
Of the 4. Yep.
I like Interstellar.
I don't remember. Did we ever do a review on Interstellar?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and take a look if we did.
I probably gave it like a 2 or a 3.
Wow.
I really did not like Interstellar.
Wow. What did you give Dune? The second Dune? Because
second Dune, I don't remember off the top of my head.
it was low,
I
and
forget
we got
about it.
blasted by the audience.
Yeah,
saying,
that was
don't
a visual
care.
spectacle. You should have had me on for that one.
Yeah.
Well, visual spectacle, fine.
Well, there's a third
Message.
I know.
Yes, so that one's more of Paul of Dune, I think, than Children of Dune. Though.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's
So it's
Children
more
of
of
Dune.
the Paul of Dune.
Yeah.
Which is
Interesting. I didn't think they were going to go that direction.
Yes, I've
So-
read them all.
All right, so let's see what the audience here has to say. Oh my gosh, so many different things. I do want to put Carol up here before I move on. I thought you were older than that. My son. Okay, this is just personal conversations.
How embarrassing. Thanks, Carol.
That's what
they-
the at means at the beginning.
I
So
know.
that's a
I
conversation.
should. They got some
So
conversations.
I gotta
going.
teach these older people how
Well, they're all
the
like-
internet works.
Maybe they haven't answered. Someone said Project Hail Mary was the favorite of the 4.
Okay, there we
so
go.
that
There we
was
go.
the
There.
one.
Oops. There we
Way
go.
too confusing.
Project Hail Mary was my favorite. Interstellar was it really did get
It got
confused, almost
convoluted.
like a puzzle to try to figure it out what was going on there. And I don't think it did nearly the level of hope.
No,
Yes.
you were talking
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Mm-hmm. So that
There's
that
a little bit
going for it.
hopelessness after watching that. You walk
Uh-huh.
away with kind of still an empty, we're all alone. This is pointless.
Yeah, and then you're starting to travel through time and dimensions and weird kind of stuff
I
there.
like time travel.
Well, you have to do it right.
They did not
Do you know
do it
anyone
right
that
on
does it
that
right?
Do I know anybody who does it right? Oh, I don't know, Ryan. Put that book right there. Okay.
Would you keep covering me?
He purposely did that. He's like, I know Ryan's going to
Somebody
be
said,
right
Ryan
here.
said, which seat am I going to be sitting in? Let me give you a seat. And this was, yes, Eric, John doesn't know how to read chat all that well.
Well, maybe he's just out of practice here. Let's be honest.
That could be. That could be. It's nice. My gauge for sci-fi, for a good sci-fi, I would translate this into a good Star Trek episode.
Oh.
You could.
Okay. All right.
That
All
you
right. All
definitely
right.
could
All
in
right.
this
All right.
one.
We didn't plan this, but give me your best Star Trek episode. I don't care what series. It could be Next Generation, Voyager, not Voyager. It could be
Starfleet
Deep Space
Academy.
Nine. No, that's not Star Trek. And or even the original series. Give me your best there, and we'll go for it. And then I'm sorry, I have to stop chatting off topic.
Is that what she sounds like?
No, I have no idea. No, I do know what she sounds like. She doesn't sound like that at all. So yes, that's the case. And then Stargate and Atlantis were my favorites. We're talking Star Trek.
We're going all over the place.
We
here.
are.
Can
We did do a review of Stargate way back when. We didn't do Atlantis, and
we only went up so far.
We
went very anti-Christian.
Yeah, with the Ori.
I was actually shocked when I rewatched it. I was like, man, I don't remember it being this bad. But
I was cringing when they started doing that. It was not fun.
Yeah. Quick going back to Tyler's question, I do think this is my favorite movie with Ryan Gosling in it. Drive was also very good. Very different tone, very different acting style. I think it just highlights his range of acting. I also did enjoy him as Ken in the Barbie movie. He was a great Ken character. The movie was a whole nother thing, but I think he nailed Ken. I'll just put that. So I think I like him.
I'll take your word for it on that one.
I think I like him better, more comedic than serious. For the most part.
Okay. Well, he played it off pretty well in this movie. I think
yeah,
he did fit the part. From what I understood, when they bought the rights for this movie, they immediately placed him as the main character. They nailed him. They said, this is it. We want it for him.
Can you think of someone else that could have been good in his role? Because I did. I'd be curious what people thought in the chat.
Nobody comes to mind, but we can leave that open to the chat to see what other people say.
If someone says it,
if you guys saw the movie, or even just from what you saw on the trailers, who would you put as the main character for this movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll circle back to it.
Meanwhile, I will. We're going to censor you again, Ryan. We're going to put up a. This is another poll. This is our second poll. And it was, could you survive a solo space mission that would take months or years? Surprisingly, most people would not make it through the launch. And it's just like it goes up from there. It's just it's so funny looking at this poll. The next one is, I'd last about 10 minutes. Then the other one was yes, because I always have someone to live for months or years on a solo mission. Or somebody was bold or just having fun and said, yes, because I need no one else. I wonder who that. I have no idea. That doesn't tell me who did these, so it's completely anonymous. But what I was hoping with that poll was that, would you, if you're a Christian, do you find that because of your relationship with Jesus, because of your relationship with God, you're able to be in solitary situations for extended periods, much longer, because you're not alone?
I think you have to prepare yourself for that. I think you have to go with the right mindset. Are you in a situation where you're going to be alone for a while and there's like nothing you can really do about it, or it was intentional choice? Or it's like, oh, I got to go find. I'm trapped, or I'm stuck. I'm lost on an island, and you're trying to get off the island, or something like that.
Yeah,
definitely very different mindsets. But either way, hopefully you can get to the point where you're.
I think I'd be. I was in a situation like this before a couple times, and the hardest thing for me was not. Your family. You're worried about your family and how they're doing and being provided for and stuff like that. That was the hardest part. But if you have no family, no other connections like that, I think that might be a little bit easier because they're not dependent on you.
Oh,
you have dependents,
and
you're away from them for an extended period of time, then you worry about them.
Yeah,
and I think that's part of it. But having a solid relationship with God does make a difference in that kind of situation. Okay, so we have some people that have answered what you said. And one of them said, I have never seen a Ryan Gosling movie. Okay.
Wait a minute. What about this one? Oh, he's the one that doesn't plan on seeing it. That's right.
And then Felicia, who is that? Schultz said Chris Pratt. See him in that. Did you?
Chris Pratt, okay.
We'll leave it. Pedro Pascal.
Okay.
I hear he's fallen out of favor in Hollywood.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's been to space a couple times already, though, right?
Yes. Yes, and usually carrying some little Yoda-like character.
Yeah.
So, and then it would be interesting to watch First Man Again, where Gosling plays
Oh,
Stoke Neil
That's right.
Armstrong.
This isn't his first time in space.
Mm-hmm. And then Thomas Hall said, I've always enjoyed solitude, but for extended periods, it requires a lot of prayer time, not go bonkers. I think that you are correct.
Mhm.
And maybe that explains a lot about me personally, but we won't go there because
You're already bonkers.
that's another situation. All right, a little bit of trivia then. The credits, one of the credits for rejected Rocky voice. So there was times in there they were going through Rocky voice. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. One of them is credited to Ray Porter, who was the narrator of the audiobook for this.
Oh, that's a very good flavoring.
Why
That's
did they not go
hilarious.
with him when they were going through all the options? Then I wonder.
I don't know if he just showed up one day and said, "Come on, guys, do me."
They also had Meryl Streep in there. That would have been a very different movie if she was the voice for Rocky.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think. What?
Yeah.
Who is doing? They're redoing Aslan. They're redoing one of the Narnia.
Seriously?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
I think it might have been. I
Ryan,
caught
what's your
wind.
wardrobe?
No, I think it's Magician's Nephew, which is my favorite book.
So they're going chronological now instead of
Maybe.
spoilers for the
Yeah,
Chronicles of Narnia. Hey,
Yeah.
they're not.
books have been out for a
chronological.
couple years, so you guys it's safe.
It's a little late.
But I think it may have been her doing the voice of Aslan. I think you
Meryl Streep.
cannot do a female Aslan.
That's just typical anymore, though. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, but I didn't see any of that kind of
Yeah.
philosophy in this movie at all, so that was
Yeah.
a good thing.
What if they did Meryl Streep and then Ryan Gosling fell in love with Rocky?
I don't think so. For that, you deserve this comment from Jack Ray. Rocky Balboa voice, you're Adrian.
Yes, there was some
And
fun
there was
references
Adrian
in
in there,
there.
so yes,
Yeah.
that would be good, especially
Mhm.
with Rocky. Yeah. Good play.
That was Rocky's mate.
That was
I
good.
remember.
So do we think that in general this would be a movie for most audiences? I think the overwhelming would
Generally,
be
yeah.
generally, yeah. For the younger crowd, I think it'd be a little bit harder to grasp. Although Rocky plays a lot for the kids.
Yeah.
And
He
even
really
then, I think
does.
it's kind of borderline because, like, as long as they can grasp some of the deeper concepts.
Yeah, it's
Well, they
more of a
don't have
conceptual
to.
thing. It's not like anything.
Well,
just,
there are dead bodies. There are some death
Some peril,
that
some violence,
occurs,
but really
some
not
blood, but
thematic elements. Yeah.
nothing that would be like, oh my goodness, level. So maybe a little on the older side, but not terribly.
Yeah.
Like I this is like borderline PG-13,
I think it
PG
could have been
level.
PG.
It could have been easily PG.
Mhm.
right.
If they, I think if they would have altered a couple of things, they would have easily
Yeah.
fallen into that because
Mhm.
it's just right there. But at the same time, I don't know if they would have wanted to. because they
No,
want-
yeah, I think-
normally
I
with those,
think-
you want to get like a PG-13, you want to get a certain crowd.
Sure, that's
So
true.
There's sort of appeal to a 13, even though
Mhm. It wasn't
Yeah.
necessary.
not really necessary.
They do that with R sometimes. They make things unnecessarily R to get that a
Yep,
different crowd.
go for that
Yeah.
rating.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I'm almost not going to put your comment up here, Jack, because of what you had said earlier about me not being able to handle comments. So it was better than Prometheus. Yes.
Yes.
Without
No
without
stupid
doubt.
running in a straight line.
I watched Prometheus mostly on fast forward just because it was that bad. I wanted to see what people were referencing.
No. This is definitely you wouldn't want to listen to this one. Watch this one. fast
One of the things I listened to too when I was in the theaters is people's reaction, and there was a general mood that I think in the theater that people were enjoying it. They
Oh, I
weren't
got
just
that
there
too.
waiting for the credits. I mean, they were engaged.
I think they laughed when they wanted to laugh. I think they were quiet and like engaged when almost all the beats, like the audience was following cue. So that's the sign of a well edited and written movie.
Interesting. So this is Christian Sodium Channel brings up a good point. Says they never mentioned it and mentioned it. Rocky was water based. I think in the book they do.
Well, I think in this one it's very clear that they established that all life is water based.
I thought Rocky wasn't
That's
though.
hilarious.
I thought that was the
No.
revelation.
That was with. We never really went into. We never really went into this.
I know.
Yeah.
Should we?
Yes.
Spoiler
Okay.
alert.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. The microbe eating the sun was water-based, but not necessarily rocky.
I know they didn't say it was rocky, but it was kind of implied because of the comedy that was in it.
Yeah.
That's like, no matter what, the guy's still wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys want?
Mhm.
Do you guys want me to? I got something that just does not work out science-wise. I don't
Oh
know if
no,
you want
there's
me
a
to-
couple things.
Do you want me to nerd out about that for a little bit?
Here
or-
we go.
Go ahead.
I was curious your thoughts of the anatomy and biology of Rocky, if that's what you're talking
No,
about.
not so much
Okay.
about that. Although
Hmm.
that would be interesting. How does it
Yeah.
actually work? Is he like a silicoid type
Yeah.
of thing going on there? Was high temperature. We do know that. But I'm going to go back to where's the comments? Take it off this. It was okay. So here's the problem. They're saying that they showed the star chart and they said it's not just our sun that's affected by this, but there's all these other star
Sure.
systems that are around. Okay. So in our local cluster or whatever, right? They're all dimming out because they've got this stupid bacteria that's killing the sun.
Would they not be able to tell because they were so far away?
Yes. If we're talking about speed of light and the one that he's going to is 11 light years away, we wouldn't know that had a problem until 11 light years later. They wouldn't all be blinking out at once.
Yeah, I was wondering
Right?
about that.
And if we're talking about the galaxy is going through some kind of solar wind that has these impregnated in them, it's like, okay, we're all being affected by it. They might all have caught the disease at once, but we wouldn't see that. We would see them
Yeah.
sequentially going out in thousands and thousands of years later.
And when people like notice in the night sky, like, oh, there's not as many stars, like even just things like that.
Well, if it was instantaneous like that. But yes, your point is, yeah, it would take time for the light to reach them. On top of that, everyone gets affected all at the same time.
That's basically
Very
what they were saying
convenient.
is. Yeah. The other thing that was, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but their method of propulsion was, which is a unique idea, was you juice these microbes up enough with light, and then you turn them on and they shine and they can like melt metal. So there's that much thrust that's going out because they're just as like an ion engine. There's basically thrust, and you can continually go. You don't have to worry about fuel. That's the hardest thing about trying to approach near light speed.
Yeah.
Is because the more fuel you have, the more mass you have, it's harder to approach light speed. So you have this abundant fuel source that's regenerating and they're going out. But they get their energy from the star that they're feeding off of.
Oh.
If they're in
that's how they reproduce, though.
well, they get the energy that comes in from the sun. They store it up there. They're black. They're black on all spectrum, the entire spectrum. So they're absorbing all this light energy,
Okay.
right? And so they just don't spontaneously just generate energy on their own.
Okay.
That would
Interesting.
break conservation of energy. They have to have some kind of source to like charge their battery. But then they're in that fuel cell, so they don't have any light source. They're not getting any more
So they'd
energy.
have to be charged beforehand. And then
They get
just
charged with
containing
light.
it until that happens.
For several years.
Hey, I don't know this biology of these.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe they're
microorganisms
supercharged like that. Maybe that's resolved in the book. I don't know.
Yeah.
I did start reading it, but I just didn't have it in time
No.
for this.
I will say something that was convenient with the sci-fi technology side of things. The same thing that was causing the problem was also causing a solution. And that was at least helpful.
Yes.
That there wasn't like multiple things that was kind of like stretching kind of like the laws. At least you had one kind of like element that was new that kind of like carried over in a couple different like areas. So
Now, did they ever explain how all the stars were infected?
We ruined it for him.
uh,
Jack Ray said, okay, definitely not seeing this one now. They have a star-eating life form.
Okay, again, question.
I'm
Did
sorry.
they ever
I
explain?
distracted.
Did they ever explain how all these stars were infected?
No.
Or was this just like
We
a
don't
natural?
know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Okay, fine. Because it's kind of seemed like these were natural, even, and they're supposed. If they're natural, then there would have been something offsetting it to begin with.
You
So
mean
why
predator
did-
prey?
Predator-prey ratio. Why did the predators all go away?
Oh, you mean the ones that they found on that other planet?
They found predators
Yeah.
there at that planet, and it was like, okay, we can make this for our own. But what happened to the ones on our own? Were these always
Did
there?
these, like, in theory, evolve and change into what they were, or the microphage, like, became what they are at that point? Like, instead of them always existing?
Well, they would. All the star systems have the same sort of development.
Well, maybe
Perfectly.
they came from some type of, like, common micro
That's
from
what
the whole.
That's what
universe.
wasn't explained.
Yeah.
It could
At
again.
all.
It could have just been. I mean, it's over 2-hour movie, and there's only so much information
Yes.
you can put in.
I'd be curious what the book
what
has
the
to
book
say.
it does
Yeah.
the book
Mhm.
explain it? I don't know.
That wasn't explained. Why the other astronauts died?
Well, I think that was
Was it
fine. I
100%?
was fine with them not knowing. In fact, I think that would
System
set
broke.
them well up for a sequel, even like to figure out what happened and even do like a prequel. Jump back to when they were first.
I don't think there's enough.
I like
there.
the ending. Now you
I
haven't
think
done
it's
your
left it.
theme yet,
Yeah.
so
I
now
haven't
we're
done
in
my thing.
spoiler territory. So
Sure. So, lo and behold, the guy gets shanghaied. If you don't know what that term is, look it up. But basically, that is the end all result. He is the only one who is able to do this job because everyone else was suddenly killed and they had a time frame they had to meet. And he's the only one with the knowledge. So he has to go. So they Shanghai him, throw him on the ship, and send him off.
Well,
In that, he absolutely refused. He would choose his own life, living for another 30 years, because this is a one-way trip. At least that's what they expect. It's a one-way trip. They're going to die. This is a death sentence. He'd rather live 30 more years on Earth and have everyone on Earth eventually die than him go. Now, I thought that was very interesting. Again, it's the question of eternal mindset. Because I'm watching this movie and at the same time I'm reading Two Swords of Christ by Raymond Ibrahim. And that's going through the religious orders, so the Templars and the Hospitallers, their whole history, how they were developed, what their actual intents were and purpose behind them. And to see that, like, in that, you see a lot of self-sacrifice. You see an incredible amount of, we're doing this for the glory of God. We're keeping him central in our lives. And at the same time, you see him on the other end, which does not have a God-centered life. He has a me-centered life. And of course, why would he sacrifice that for so many other people? He's not benefiting out of it. Evolutionarily, he would have no reason to do it.
Okay, but I'm not sure if he was so much me-centered. I think he was just lacking confidence.
well, courage. Like they use that word, or being brave. Like brave was a common
Brave,
thing.
but where does that bravery come from? That bravery comes from what your life is based around. Again, it makes perfect sense for him in his world set to say, no, I don't want to give up my life.
Well, I don't think he was necessarily painted as like a selfish person. I do think that theme was him needing to become brave.
Yes.
And I think that, like,
character growth.
Yeah, I think that was the character growth moment. I think that if he could, in theory, help people, it was just at what level of what that he was willing to put himself through.
That's my point.
Yeah.
There was a limit to where he was willing to go. And once he was stuck in the situation, it's like, okay, then he rose to the challenge.
Yes. Well, I think we have that too, though, right? Like we have our limits in terms of how much we are willing to endure to save other people and like to save the country. Like if you go into like the military, for instance, like is that worth like, protecting the country how much are you willing to put your life on the line? Like, and I think a lot of respected Christians can, like, no, I think my time, my space is here. But in this case scenario, this was like specifically like tailored for him. Like he was the person that other people can join the military, but he couldn't. Other people couldn't do this.
He was the only one that could.
It's with his character at the beginning because he tried to rise to the top. He got smacked down. He says, "Fine, I'll just go back and work with kids." I will still contribute, but I'm going to contribute at a much lower,
Smaller.
safe level.
Sure.
Right.
Mhm.
But then he had to rise to the occasion.
Well,
I know
had
he didn't
no
have a choice. Yeah.
But again, that's my point. He didn't rise, say, yes, I'm going to do this. It was forced upon him. And even him being stuck in the project Hail Mary to begin with wasn't by his choice. Oh, so you live here now. Oh.
Well, no, he wanted to be a part of it after, like,
He willingly joined at the very beginning, but when he was taken by the jet and landed there, he had no intent of staying. It's like,
No.
oh, you live
He
here
was just
now.
training others.
yeah.
You live here now. You're now part of this. You're now basically the lead on this. Here you go. And yeah, he got thrust into that, and he got thrust into being sent off on a suicide mission.
I do think the lack of him choosing to go on the mission does kind of fly in the face a little bit in the Christian theme, just because God doesn't force us.
Yeah.
I think God puts us in scenarios, that we may not choose, but there's not like you're going to be, one of my workers in the field, whether you like it or not, like kind of like this one does a little bit. You could
I
argue.
don't know. He kind of threw Moses into the river there.
So there's
Or
always
Jonah.
there's always a point, because there's a couple of options someone could react to this. Someone could react like he did, which is like, no, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'd rather run away and fight in order to get out of here. Or you've got people who will say, yes, I want to do it, and then the last possible second chicken out.
Oh, it's like the
then
parable
you've got-
of the two workers in
Yeah.
the field.
And they
Almost.
got another option, which is okay, they'll actually do it. Even if they say don't necessarily want to do it, they'll still do it in the end.
Yeah.
Or you just have the willing participant being willing to step up to that line and do it. That's the difference I'm pointing out between those.
Yeah.
And he's definitely the one who definitely wanted to run, because he was about ready to jump over the barbed wire fence. At least try to.
No, that was.
So I'm going to put a couple more comments up here. Christian Sodium Channel said it was cool once they got into orbit. Gravity stopped because no more thrust, and they didn't explain why, which is fine. And I agree. There was, and then they had they're using centrifugal force to be able to get gravity. They don't have like grav plates for artificial gravity.
Yeah.
They were holding to some science there, and I think
that was very
attention
nice.
to detail.
this is so in terms of science fiction writing, this particular genre might be called hard science fiction, where you try to keep as much as you can to real science or known science at the time. So I thought that was pretty good. So kudos for that. And then he says, there's no villain in this story, really. Those life forms are just like bugs, a virus. Yeah, they're taking over.
Not even I guess sort of like a virus, but even then they're just living. They're not. There's no malice.
No malice.
Right? There's no ill intent. It's just they're doing what they naturally do, and unfortunately, it's a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Well, in storytelling, you do have many stories where it's an act of nature.
Yeah, man versus nature. Man versus self.
nature. Yep. Twister might be another one where you're fighting nature, or
you still feel like there's a villain though in that one, because man, those Twisters seem
almost have life
to show up.
Yeah,
and it's like almost like there's something there like Actually, that's what kind of my theory. Whenever I was watching the latest Twister, it's like, are they actually like trying to control these things or something? It just seems so convenient.
It's personal.
It is convenient.
It's like personal. I want to take
Stop studying me.
Let's see. We're in spoilers section. Oh, I'm sorry. Go back up. I missed one. A sequel, Black Hole Eating Light Form, much better because bigger, badder threat. Hollywood reasons. Yes, that's
Black
the
Hole.
sequel.
Interesting.
And then if we're in the spoiler, I'm convinced most of the movie was his brains dying of fever dream. It's all a dream.
Oh, interesting. That's more of a theory
well, you
than
know
it
what
is
though? Those are I wrote a short story like that once, and people did. Honestly, readers don't like that because they feel cheated. I made this emotional investment, and it's just not real. It's not worth it.
Yeah, if it got to the end and it's like, he actually he was dying the entire time, and it's just a fever dream. I would have walked down the way and said, oh, that's pathetic.
They do say it's a sci-fi trope that not to do a particular trope.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's
it feels very unsatisfying.
Tang in a bottle, I think, is Tang in a jar.
Okay, I've not heard that one.
It was the idea that I think it's even a Twilight Zone or something like that. They're wandering around in this desert and they come up to this glass wall and they say it's impenetrable, and they're just basically in this glass jar under.
Oh,
You know which one I'm talking about? I don't know if
I've not seen it, but I understand.
It's that type of idea. It's like, okay, all right, but Tyler.
I'm watching on mute.
How do you say his last name?
Carnes?
Carnes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You go ahead and read this one.
Well, I'm watching on mute, so I don't hear any spoilers, but it looks like you three handsome gentlemen are having a nice time.
We're all making fun of Tyler now.
There's also... Wait,
I'm sorry.
I missed that last part.
What do you say here?
Also, there's progressively more Hat Bill age from the panelists to the right. Hat Bill age? Hat Bill age?
I think it's the hats.
What's a Bill age?
I don't know.
This is
No,
a
wait.
Bill?
This Bill. This is a hat's Bill.
Okay.
So
but
you've got a little Bill.
progressively
I've
more-
got bigger Bill.
Oh, okay. And
Also,
then-
you could also look at the length of beards.
No, let's not do that. Okay, so yes, that was
or grayness.
Jack Ray was just saying that was a joke. He was being absurd.
The
Yes,
gradients,
we got
that's
that.
probably closer.
Gradient.
Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. Was that the name of the Twilight Zone? I wonder.
Might be.
Oh.
No,
Might have
him you
brought that
probably
up.
know.
It's a trope for small children when they make up a story. They can't end it well, so
That's
they say
true.
it's just a dream.
That is true. That is. I think I remember doing that when I was telling my brother stories. It was all a dream.
And this is a quantity of bills.
Quantity of bills.
Is that the name of the Twilight Zone?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so can we talk more about Rocky?
Yes, we'll wrap it up by talking about.
Oh, we got to
Rocky.
wrap it up. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, well, no, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. If you
Like, I
bring
just
up
wanted
Rocky.
I wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on Rocky as an alien and how he was able to have such a moral compass as an alien. Like he had a very like almost human morality for being something other than made in the image of God. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which
he
I
had a
thought was
Christian
very
morality.
peculiar and very interesting in terms of sci-fi. Because if he truly was such a different species with such a different way of looking at the world, like he hears instead of sees, and like he sees, he's social, but like I was surprised. I mean, I was delighted with how much like they were still able to keep like he wasn't trying to eat him or harm him in any way, which was cool. But at the same time, I was just like, how is an alien that is so different, and if they're trying to be realistic, able to have such like similar morality compared to humanity?
I think there is morality is universal and not just across the planet. I think there is baseline morality. If it's built by God, that is more universal.
But animals have different moralities than humans.
Correct.
So wouldn't he fall more into the category of an animal?
Not if
though?
he's sentient. Not if God's breathed in.
Do you think he was? Was he made in the image of God?
Well, maybe in the image of God,
I
yeah,
believe
that's right.
I believe there can be other creatures. We did a review or a video live stream on aliens. You know,
Okay.
Can God create aliens? And I believe 100%, and I believe it's in the Bible that there are aliens. Yes.
Are you talking about demons? Because that's usually
Demons
the cop out.
and angels. No, demons and angels. So we do know that there are sentient creatures, and angels are not just like one type. There's a variety.
And
Okay.
angel just means messenger. So
Right,
yeah.
right. Angelic beings that are in the Bible that we're talking about, supernatural or spiritual beings. So that's there. So now we say, okay, that's kind of a cop out because
It
that's
does.
outside
Yeah.
of our universe.
It's a
That's
different realm
that's
almost.
different, right? So, but what about this? Now, it could be possible that God created the entire universe, all billions and billions and billions of stars and galaxies, and it's incomprehensible. It is the total perspective vortex when you look at it all, because we can't see it all. All of that could just be displaying his glory. Period.
Sure. Yeah.
Or
Mhm.
he could have, like C.S. Lewis's book Paralander, created another Adam and Eve like experience on another
I've
planet.
heard this. Yeah.
And then done that, and maybe they did fall, or maybe they didn't fall.
Oh, That,
you know,
that's
and
a
then
good
there's
question.
that
still waiting to eat
question.
the apple.
Right. So Rocky's species, maybe they never fell.
Wow.
Who knows?
Because such a nice character.
Yeah, he was.
Maybe not.
He was a great rock.
Or maybe he was just being all nice so they can lure.
Yeah, and they made
Could
that
do some-
habitat for him like he was
Right.
an exhibit in a zoo. Like they were like, "Ooh, look at
Actually,
that."
I really like that part. Of
Did you like that?
I like
Yes,
the
it was a
ending
good ending.
because there's no.
Very
He has
satisfying.
0 obligations to Earth. And it's like he goes back and what is he?
But he would have been a
Oh,
hero. Yeah,
Well,
I would
you
have
know
liked
what?
that.
I've seen how our heroes are treated, and he's better off on the rock.
We didn't realize it, but we had lost video there for a second.
Whoa,
Uh-oh.
is the stream back?
That's what they say. They're back.
Okay. Well,
Oh man, they
Interesting.
probably messed the. Missed
We
the
didn't
best
we didn't
part.
realize
It's
that. We were
back.
making fun of them at that time. So this was 9:05. That was just a minute ago.
Okay.
So
okay.
What'd
so
you
not
guys
too
miss?
bad. Not too long.
Did you miss
I
my brilliant part in analysis with
Yes, it
such
was.
nuance and
Well,
It was.
articulation?
We're
I
talking
guess
about-
a little bit more on Rocky himself. I did enjoy that it wasn't the typical green-skinned alien.
Yeah,
Just human, but let's add horns. Or it's a human. Let's just add
give him some weird prosthetics. Yeah,
some weird prosthetics and we're done. It's like no,
Mhm.
this is an alien.
sure.
Okay,
With whole
all
different
right.
rules.
Usually that
Yeah.
has to do with being able to
Limitations.
afford
Yes.
and have the
Budget.
time. Budget.
Yes.
Yeah, and they had an actual puppeteer for this. Like they had a huge budget to make this type of production, and it really showed.
It
off.
showed,
Yeah.
and it's really,
Yes.
really well done.
And they were able to take that alien to that next level of like, okay, how would a life actually develop on these different conditions, which is really hard to do, like you said. But budget, they had it this time.
That's good. This talking about Rocky
Angelic being
that would make Rocky an angelic
who's
being.
pretty cute.
Not necessarily. we're talking about angelic beings. We know that that other sentient life forms do exist because it is in the Bible, right? The question is, in this universe, physical, material, biological, maybe somehow life, Jim, but not as we know it, is out there somewhere. And could it be? I think it could. God's very creative, or it could just be this whole majesty, everything is created is just for us to say, big God.
Yeah.
Could go either way.
Oh man.
Did you want to add anything to that?
The last thing, if we have a little time, you got a good comment here.
Oh, this is a good one. Okay. What did they? Okay, so if Rocky's species passed the Adam and Eve test, or like in Paralandra and their version of Adam and Eve, passed the test. Spoiler. Sorry for guys who haven't read that book. If his species had, would it be ethical to bring the gospel to?
Should they already have it?
They
In
should.
theory?
Because the gospel is
God
just a
wouldn't-
redemption of our species.
They wouldn't need it if they're not
Yeah, they
fallen
would
then.
not need it. They'd already have that sort of relationship with God that we were intended to have. So no, they wouldn't need it. In fact, again, a lot of how he interacts, it's not warlike, it's not aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Like
not
he
any intent
immediately cared for this
of,
other
there's no sort of
being.
intent
What
of
if-
harm.
Yeah.
What if Rocky was just like the idiot on their crew? They always made fun of him because he had the low IQ and he was just totally nice to everybody, and all the smart ones,
everyone else.
all the greedy smart ones died,
Yeah.
and he's the only one that's left.
And they get back to his planet and they're like,
Yeah.
ah,
Yes.
they turn on him.
That'd actually been funny.
That would have been.
But this
Nice.
is a
Well,
good
like that.
question. I don't think it would be unethical. It's just
No.
it's showing the glory of God in a different light to them, even if they did pass.
Yeah, you would have to overcome
Right.
that language barrier, which they did very quickly in the movie to figure
Yes,
out
that
like
was
what their word
convenient.
for God is, which might be kind of tricky.
So I would think that they would still have the knowledge of good and evil, even though if they had not partaken of the tree. That would have been our plan anyway. We just shortcutted. It's like Satan always does with sin, just shortcuts. God's going to give it to you anyway, but you just had to get it a little early, like premarital sex. He's going to give it to you anyway, but then the enemy.
So
tempts you.
interesting. So you think that if Adam and Eve would have stayed there for longer, they would essentially arrived at our level of knowledge of good and evil, and
maybe not. Yeah, if they had passed the test and God said, "Okay, you're good," they would have known, but not experientially known.
well, do you really know?
We
though?
know. I don't know. Not necessarily. It's just speculation.
Well, even then,
But-
we know that we are eventually, once we enter into heaven, to know and be known once Jesus'
Right.
return. That could have happened much earlier on if we didn't take the shortcut and had
Yeah.
declared our will be
Shortcut.
done, not yours. And then, of course, the second Adam's let your will be done, not mine.
That's right.
Interesting parallels there between two different gardens.
So as the hobbits would say, shortcuts make for long delays. Is that we went this other route. But this is totally opened up to a really interesting discussion. I argue it's redemption of all
Creation.
Is that a
crustacean?
crustacean? Oh, because the crab. Because
Oh,
he was a crab.
I thought it was a typo.
No. What if Rocky
Oh.
were Darth Jar?
All right, next.
Next.
Get him out of here.
I would love to talk to Mr. Data about good and evil
Mm.
when he got his emotions. They were used by lore to make him a hedonist. Feel good emotions. Data had spiritual motives. That was okay. Talk about springboard for conversation. The whole question about Data, and these would be individual Star Trek
Mhm.
episodes. That would be interesting questions to bring up.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
I'm glad they didn't go that route with this character, for the record. I feel like that's kind of stereotypical. Just like, I am an alien. I'm like so analytical and just like, because I think that the Rocky is like a human, like a computer, because their ship doesn't have computers on them. It's all run by that species because they're so data processing. I think that's how they explain in the books. And with that, you almost think that like they would be analytical and like what's the best way to save the Earth and their own planet, and like what would be the most utilitarian in this
The very
situation.
the very fact that it is, let's say, both worlds is very interesting, because it wouldn't have to be. He wouldn't have to have, let's say, both worlds. He could just save his own.
Yeah. The fact that he was so invested. Yeah, he was very invested.
It's very interesting.
In Gosling's character, which was very. I guess he was lonely. He was drifting through space for what did it say, like 30 years? When all his crew members, all the.
Oh, was that how long? I missed.
Yeah,
that.
I think it was a long time, and they live a lot longer. I think they live an average of like 600 years because he was with his mate for what, like
106.
106, and I was like. I turned to my wife in the theater. I was like, I don't know if I can do 106.
Oh, okay. Well,
I love you.
Is she watching?
106, man. Come
What are
on, like
comments?
we're both ready to head on to the next.
You know that's now recorded, right? That's now like public forever. She can now clip that, put it on repeat whenever you got any sort of argument or anything, and just play it.
Told that to her myself, so I mean, I'm sure.
Telling to her is one thing. Having her have a recording of it is another.
Well, I'll deal with those consequences.
Play this back over and over, buddy. You are sunk. It seems sentient life forms require something that equates to faith, a way to deal with the unknown, and a reason to be moral.
Yes. And again, I understand why, probably from a writer's standpoint. They just have the concept that the American ideal of morality is, the best one, and that's why aliens would, of course, have it. That's not entirely true, because again, that is built off of Christianity. That's built off of that foundation. If they didn't have that foundation, then they wouldn't have it. They could have something completely different. Because again, if you look throughout history, through the Muslim world, through Hinduism, through into Japan, China, any of the other nations or large groups that are out there, they don't have the same morality that we would have here in the West. It's very different.
Right.
Well, there's a common grace that they can receive, but I do think it's different than
it's
like.
not really. I would disagree.
Interesting. I think that, morality's written on every person's heart.
Yes, inherently, yes.
Mm-hmm. But then
Boy.
culturally, it shifts around depending on like your environment and kind of like what religion is prominent in that space.
It's very easy to only care about your group.
Yeah.
And tribalism, I would say, is humanity tends towards tribalism in caring about your tribe or your identity group. And who cares about the rest? They don't really matter because they're lesser.
So he brings up a very good point here. And this is, I think, deals with my theme, the Christian theme that I found in this movie, is that ultimately science doesn't have the answer about eternity. It has a lot of answers, and I'm an engineer, so I love science, love math, but it doesn't answer everything. And there's a point where it draws a blank. It's almost like it reaches this boundary edge, this event horizon of a singularity, and it cannot go further. And beyond that, God has to answer the question.
It almost asks more questions than it does provide answers in the philosophical sense. Like in a data sense, sure, it answers questions. But once when you get to those points that you mentioned, it's like, oh, that's a good question. And I think since science is already in the habit of answering them, it also wants to tackle those questions that they're probably not suited to, right?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. By the way, I am watching, she says. But Carol came to the rescue.
You can't get out. You're stuck in the middle.
Carol came to the rescue and said, love keeps no records of wrongs.
Yeah, but YouTube does.
I still think kindness and mercy are supernatural. I believe they're within human nature, but our fallen nature does not take kindly to them. It tends to reject mercy and kindness.
Which is why we need a supernatural intervention.
I think there's other life forms elsewhere. They're going to be consuming locusts. If there are other life forms elsewhere.
Okay, so it's not like a sentient
consuming locust
society
creatures. That's what Independence Day. That's what they were like.
Yeah.
They were going from planet to planet, taking that up. All right. Do you guys have any last thoughts and last well wishes for Ryan here? As
I love you, sweetie.
His wife has witnessed his confession. Yes, we need to pray for him. So I think this movie was enjoyable. It was something that could be for a lot of a wide audience, and I think there are some deeper questions that can be asked. Like we've been rehearsing, we've been going on here. This type of conversation that we have, I think, is great to have with people that may never step foot in a church, but you can draw them closer to Christ. Eventually, they would go to church, but they will hear things here that they would sometimes put barriers up against. These type of messages get around. So I think it's one of the good things about science fiction.
Yeah,
is it can open those type of doors and think, what if? Any last comments, guys? Anything that you have coming up that you would want to add?
Not particularly. There's some good movies coming out, I think, this year yet. I think we should nail some of these down.
I think
to
you're
do
right.
some more reviews.
And we have somebody else who's been wanting to join us. Mention of Ender's Game and some other things, and still want to
go back.
Still do want to finish some of the other heroes of faith that were mentioned in what was that book? I'm thinking Sword and Scimitar, but that's not it.
Not Sword and Scimitar, Defenders of the West.
Defenders of the West. Yes, thank you. There's still 4 more that we should finish on that as well. So with that, enjoyed having you. It's been a great conversation with those in the chat, and hope to see you next time, whenever that may be.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.